All right, brave digitizers. We have now digitized all of the polygons on the Deadman Park Management Units map. So we've got all of our individual polygons on our Deadman Others feature class that we created. We've digitized them. We've gone to the edit ribbon and saved them, of course. And we also have our Deadman box, our border to the actual management unit map. The next thing we want to do is we're going to conduct a union between these two features, and that will automatically create for us this D43 polygon so that we don't have to actually trace it ourselves. It's going to save us a lot of time. So for that union, we're going to go back up to the analysis ribbon, and we're going to go to Tools, and under Tools, we will go to Toolboxes, Analysis Tools, Overlay, and we're going to use a tool called Union that we're going to be using a lot in the weeks to come. So our input features are going to be our Deadman Others and our Deadman Box. Since Union tool joins them together, it doesn't really matter which one you put first. Either will get you there. So just make sure you've got your Deadman Box feature class and your Deadman Others as the inputs. The output is just the name of what you're going to be creating, basically. So I'm going to call it Deadman MU, which is the same sort of name formatting we used for the in-class lab. And then we can go ahead and hit Run. And if I uncheck my other features here, I now have one feature class that contains all of my polygons. And if I go to the attribute table of Deadman MU, let's see here. I now have, looks like I've got a few bonus polygons, but what you want to do is kind of look at the shape area of everything that you've created. So most of these are in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Looks like I have a couple, I like to call them oops polygons that are pretty small here. Can't even really see where that is. So somehow this little bit of a line, I overlapped it somehow and it didn't trace correctly. So I do have a couple accidental ones here. You could potentially delete them. I'm going to leave them for right now. But this is sort of another quality check. So the management unit letters went from A to, or the unit ID letters went from A to Q. So there should be about 17 larger polygons, and then looks like these are just a few accidental ones that I got along the way. Maybe that happened to you too, or maybe you did a better job of digitizing than I did. So I'm going to go back into map, clear. At this point, we don't actually need others or box, so I can remove those from the map. They still live inside my geodatabase if I need to find them again. And let me zoom out. The next thing we're going to do is add the attribute data for these different management units. So let's see here. I've got the unit ID, which is the letter code, and then the management status, which is the 2-digit numeric code. So what we want to do is eventually we want to add that information so that it shows up in this attribute table. To do that, we're going to have to add a couple fields because we don't have a management status or unit ID field in here. So go ahead and open up the attribute table of your Deadman MU feature. If that add button is grayed out, that means you probably haven't saved something along the way. So I'd go back to the edit ribbon, see if that save is enabled. If it's grayed out, then you're good. And then we might have to figure out why your add button isn't showing up. But go to the attribute table of Deadman MU. We're going to click Add for Add Field, and we're going to add a field called Unit ID. Let's see here. It's an underscore, and that's going to be a text because it's the letter character that represents each individual unit. It has a unique letter. So I'll make that a text, and the length of it, since it's all one letter, can be one character. And then I'm going to click and add one more field for management status. So You want to make sure to type this one in the same way Rocky has it written on the lab. So MGT underscore status, and that can be a short integer because it's under 32,000 or so. And we don't need to give it a length since it's an integer value. Once you've added unit ID as text and management status as a short integer, go ahead and hit save. And we can close out of our field builder. And we can also close out of the attribute table for that matter. And now what we're going to do is each of these polygons has a unit ID, such as the letter, and a management status, which is the number. We're going to add that information to the attribute table. And that's going to help us when we're trying to figure out what these management statuses mean. So let's see here. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to go to the Edit ribbon, and we're going to click Attributes. So we're going to select one or more features. The first feature that we're going to select here is, I'm just going to start off with this polygon A32. And once you click one of these polygons, make sure you can see what the unit ID and management status is. And you should actually see those features show up over in this attribute table pane on the right now. But there's no unit ID and no management status because, guess what? We get to enter them in. So my unit ID here is A, my management status is 32. After each one, I'm going to hit apply. And this one is C43. Let's see here. Hit apply. I need to zoom out of my map some. So here's B42. Oh, and if you don't hit apply, it'll ask you if you want to save your edits, and of course you do. J41. And you'll notice some of the management statuses are repeated, such as 42, but none of the unit IDs are repeated because those are unique values. So let's zoom out a little bit more here. Except I need to be able to see. So I'm going to try to move in like this. So this is K42. I've already done that one. Oops. Attributes. I guess I have to go back to Select on the map ribbon. Then I can go to Edit, Attributes again, change the selection, I41, or that's J41. So here's H43, and we're just going to go through each polygon and give it a name and a management status. And again, ARC doesn't know if we enter the information incorrectly, so it's really important to make sure that you type it in correctly. And of course, when we did the union, it created this giant polygon for our D43 feature. So we can go ahead and name that one as well. And let's see here. There we go. Oops. Just double checking that I got them all. And of course, another way to double check would be to just go to our attribute table. So once you've entered them all in, you're pretty sure you have, go ahead and hit save again on the edit ribbon. Save all your edits. And now, if we go to the attribute table, I would go ahead and just clear your selections. But go to the attribute table for Deadman MU. And now, all of your unit IDs and your management statuses should show up for the polygons that you entered. So again, if you have a couple accidental polygons like I do, some of these ones that are obviously really small, they're not going to have any information. And you have a couple options here. You could leave them as is. You could, as long as they're not some of the main ones, you could probably actually just remove them from your attribute table. And that way they wouldn't show up in your legend later. But that's kind of up to you. I am going to save my project here just because we did another step, so it's good to go ahead and save it. So now we've entered in